Let's call the committee of the whole board meeting for November 5th to order. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to begin with an important reminder that our meetings in this facility are a safe space for all. As noted on our board website and on signage as you come into our building, members of the public do not have an opportunity to speak or make comments during meetings unless they are scheduled to present or delegate before the board. When observing our meeting, members of the public are expected to act responsibly with decorum and respect. Blue Water District School Board meetings are held in public, but they are not public meetings. They are business meetings conducted for the public to view if they wish to do so. Racist, discriminatory, unwelcome, and disruptive comment and/or questions are not acceptable at any time, including before, during, and after our meetings as people are leaving. Those who do not follow these rules will be asked to leave. We appreciate that most of our attendees continue to conduct themselves in a respectful manner. However, not have all been as willing, unfortunately. For this reason, staff and students will not be engaging with members of the public who are attending our meetings. Thank you to everyone for your support in upholding a safe and respectful place for all. We are joined virtually tonight by Trustee Morgan, Trustee McComb, and we are expecting Trustee Ritchie. She said she would be a few moments late. We have received regrets this evening from Trustee Long, Trustee Pekonen, and Trustee Craig, which takes us to the approval of the agenda. Is there any new business anyone wishes to add to the agenda this evening? I see none. So I'll be looking for mover that the agenda for the committee of the whole board meeting for November 5th, 2024 be approved as printed. Trustee Lutz, all in favor? Thank you, guys. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest on any items on our agenda this evening? I see none. We have no delegations. So we are to reports with recommendation. First is a field trip of the Georgian Bay Community School Pursuits Program Algonquin Winter Expedition. I'd like to invite Superintendent Lefebvre to speak to the report and recommendation. But first, I would like mover to put the motion on the floor that Blue Water District School Board consider for approval that Georgian Bay Community School students participate in the field trip pursuits program Algonquin Winter Exhibition. Okay. Expedition, February 25th to 28th, 2025. I got tongue tied. And Trustee Morgan, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair, Trustees. This trip has come to you on a yearly basis from Georgian Bay Community School, and I have Senator Kearns here who's going to be sharing a little bit about the trip and what it entails and what's included in your package. Thank you.
Yeah. The state's 4 accredited program at Georgian Bay Community School requires students to participate in a wilderness trip as a post requirement. Our school is seeking board approval for a 4-day winter camping trip to Algonquin Provincial Park that involves snowshoeing, hiking, and Nordic skiing from February 25th to February 28th, 2023. This trip will provide students with an opportunity to apply knowledge learned in class, demonstrate leadership skills and expertise, and personal growth in a challenging setting. The objectives of the trip are to provide students with an opportunity to participate in a wilderness trip, to help foster an appreciation for the challenges of winter travel and respect for the environment, to enable students to gain confidence and develop self-reliance through participation in snowshoeing and traditional winter travel, among many others. This trip will be a formative educational evaluation for the students enrolled in the Pursuits program. They will have learned about proper clothing for varied winter activities, and the trip will give them an opportunity to learn and practice winter camping and travel skills. With the goal to begin to establish the group development expectation for those students in the program. In preparation for the trip, the students will participate in a number of activities. They will learn a variety of necessary camping skills, traveling techniques, clothing basics, and essentials. Although early in the semester, the students will have participated in a number of endurance winter activities in preparation for this trip. The trip is challenging in nature, but has many possibilities to lessen the burden on students who need assistance from a physical standpoint. To minimize risk, the students will learn a variety of methods to use to identify and minimize the inherent risks associated with this form of recreational activity. Students quickly learn to identify potential risk factors in large variety of outdoor pursuits such as canoeing, hiking, camping, skiing, swimming, mountain biking, and rock climbing. In any adverse conditions where safety is in question, a detailed plan is in place. All reasonable efforts will be made to follow the route plan on any given day. In addition, a detailed emergency plan is also included in your package. I sincerely appreciate the support of the Blue Water District School Board has had on our Pursuits program over the years. These trips provide the unique experiences that shape and build students and future leaders. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excellent job. Do trustees have any questions? I see none. I know that this trip has happened many times. Your teacher is very much an expert, so thank you. It was true, moved by trustee Morgan that the Blue Water District School Board consider for approval that Georgian Bay Community School students participate in the field trip pursuits program Algonquin Winter Expedition, February 25th to 28th, 2025. All in favor? Thank you, that is carried. And we're to the Special Education Advisory or Committee reports. First is the Special Education Advisory Committee from October 28th. And I'd like to invite the committee chair to speak to this report.
Good evening, everyone. We met on Monday, October the 28th, here at the Educational Center. And we received a presentation from the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program, also known as OYAP, from OYAP recruiter Justin Graham and the Learning Service Administrator for Student Success, Kim Harbinson. The committee also received an update from child and youth workers, Sarah and Samantha, on the ongoing work being done by child and youth workers in Blue Water District School Board. We also had an update and report from student support attendance counselors and an ongoing work being done by attendance counselors within Blue Water District School Board. I gave a trustee report on the board's behalf, and the committee members provided an overview of the ongoing work and coming events for their agencies. And that is my report. Oh, I must say one more thing that's not in the package. Because of the PIC networking evening, one of the parents from Georgian Bay has asked to join SEAC. So we're in the midst of figuring that out. So that's 2 years, 2 new members.
Thank you. Do trustees have any questions for trustee Atkinson? Trustee Johnstone?
It's just because you evoked it, is there a set number of parents that can be on the PIC committee?
Currently figuring that out. We are searching the bylaws to go over them to make sure we're not extended.
Trustee Morgan? Oh, can't hear you, trustee Morgan.
Muted. Or no, she's not muted. She's joining.
You want to try how you did before?
Oh.
France.
Yeah.
Hello,
Hello.
Trustee Atkinson. I'm missing the stories of your kiddos with your reports.
I'll have one at the end of the meeting for you, Bria.
Any other questions or comments? I see none. Thank you so much. Our second committee report is the Indigenous Education Advisory Committee report from October the 10th. And I will speak to this report. As with all of our committee reports, you receive the information in your package. I just wanted to comment that we were hosted at Mawikwood on Indigenous Friendship Center in Owen Sound. We've been doing off-site meetings twice a year, so that's wonderful to be out in different situations. These meetings, as always, are an opportunity to build relationships, share best practices, opportunities, and challenges. And the Chippewas of Nawash presented a series of books they have developed regarding local history. Is that there was quite a number of books that were shared around to look at. That's my report, and I'm happy to take any questions. Oh, Councilor.
To get a sense, because I know that you know, in the report, it always says who's in attendance, but that's actually quite a few individuals who attend that committee, correct? Because it's both from the Catholic Board and Blue Water Board. So it would be a very big table, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I mean, it is representatives from Blue Water and Bruce Grey Catholic, but also from our Indigenous partners. So it can be quite a big table. And next, we are the Parent Involvement Committee. And again, I'd like to invite Trustee Atkinson to speak to this report.
The Parent Involvement Committee met on October the 7th, doing a Teams meeting. They're all virtual. The committee reviewed the membership and executive roles of each person. A presentation on policy program memorandum PP 128, provincial code of conduct and school board conduct was provided by Superintendent Lauren Henderson. Jeffrey Keel, grade 7 and 8 student success, literacy, and numeracy coach, provided us a very detailed report presentation on mental health literacy for grade 7 and 8 students, and provided the parents with resources and where to find the information that they may be looking for their children. And that's my report.
Any questions for Trustee Atkinson? I see none. Thank you. Are there any new notice of motion this evening? None. So we are to reports for information. Our first is our Mathematic Achievement Action Plan initial report from 2024 to 2025. And I'd like to invite Superintendent Lowers to speak to this.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to introduce Amy Doherty, who is our mathematics administrator coach. Amy works with our principals in schools and also works with our mathematics coaches to support mathematics, development of mathematics instruction in the schools. And I'm going to turn things over to Amy and let her discuss and share with you our mathematics aspect and achievement learning.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I will be speaking with you about Blue Water's Mathematics and Achievement Action Plan for the 2024-2025 school year. As part of the Ministry of Education's Taking Action in Mathematics Strategy, Blue Water District School Board has developed a Mathematics Achievement Action Plan. As outlined by the Ministry, math achievement efforts across the province should include variety of multiple proven evidence-informed strategies and approaches to address needs. Last year, the ministry identified 3 interwoven actions to be prioritized. These priority actions remain the focus for the 2024-2025 school year. The 3 priorities focus on curriculum fidelity to ensure curriculum implementation and the use of proven instructional and assessment practices to enhance student learning. The word fidelity is used here to ensure a commitment to the implementation of our current curriculum, as well as the commitment to use high-impact instructional practices for assessment and evaluation in mathematics. The second priority action is focused on engaging in ongoing professional learning to strengthen content knowledge for teaching mathematics. The third priority action highlights inclusion and engagement for all students and the importance of using assessments to know our students' mathematical strengths and needs, and also to guide our planning and interventions. Blue Water's math goal is outlined on the board in front of you. This goal is fostered through the strategic implementation of the ministry's 3 priority actions, and each school will incorporate a focus of mathematics into their school improvement plan that is based on these priorities. To support high-quality, evidence-informed instruction in mathematics, Blue Water has provided access to Math Hub Classroom for all kindergarten to grade 9 teachers of mathematics. We have also assigned Knowledge Hub premium licenses for all kindergarten through grade 10 mathematics teachers. These tools are in direct alignment with the 2020 elementary mathematics curriculum and the 2021 D-Stream math curriculum for grade 9. Both tools support teachers in deepening their content knowledge for teaching mathematics while including varied assessment and learning opportunities for our students. Math Hub Classroom includes pedagogical videos to support effective instructional approaches and learning strategies, while Knowledge Hub includes teacher supports to deepen mathematical content knowledge and strategies for identifying and addressing common student misconceptions for particular skills and concepts. Last school year, the Ministry of Education identified priority schools in mathematics. These schools were based on 2021-2022 Education Equality and Accountability Office, or EQAO office assessment results, and will remain the same for this current school year. In Blue Water, our priority schools are focused on grade 3 and grade 6. To support ongoing job-embedded professional learning in priority schools, our math instructional coaches work school-based 1 day per week in each of those schools. Instructional coaching utilizes a student-centered approach to professional learning by identifying and focusing on student strengths and needs to then determine next steps for learning and professional practice for our teachers. Blue Water's elementary system curriculum lead teachers and our primary junior math coaches facilitate this learning in priority schools. Our plan also includes the use of the intermediate literacy and numeracy coaches and the secondary system curriculum lead teacher to facilitate math professional learning with our intermediate and senior math teachers through the board. This year, the ministry has also identified schools who had low performance results on EQAO assessment of mathematics during the 2022-2023 assessment. Teachers in these key grades and the school administrators will participate in professional learning with the mathematics administrator coach, myself, and the math team coaches. I'd like you to take a moment just to read this excerpt, which was taken from page 4 of the Ministry of Education's High Impact Instructional Practices document. This quotation highlights the importance of teachers gathering information to truly know the mathematics learners in their classrooms. All students can move forward in developing their mathematical understandings. Teachers use a variety of high-impact assessment and instructional practices to meet students where they are to further develop conceptual understandings in mathematics. To measure progress of board, school, and classroom strategies, key performance indicators have been identified. Anonymous teacher and administrator surveys were developed to collect data related to resource and use and understanding of math content knowledge for teaching and learning mathematics. To measure impact of student learning and achievement, digital check-in questions have been compiled for use for students in grades 2, 3, 6, and 9. The check-in questions are intended to provide students with an opportunity to become familiar with digital assessment of mathematics, while also providing a snapshot of current student learning. Check-in questions will be repeated 3 times through the school year for elementary students and twice per semester for grade 9 D-stream students to monitor progress and to identify common areas of need. Additionally, to report on improvement efforts in ministry-identified priority schools, students in those priority grades have had number sense assessed using a board-based operational screener and a number concept assessment. These measuring tools will be used 3 times throughout the school year with these priority school grades to determine student need and to really focus our professional learning based on the student need. To support schools identified as having low performance results in the 2022-2023 EQO assessment, our instructional coaches will work with the identified grades to identify and determine student strengths and needs through a screener, and then will provide professional learning opportunities for those teachers and the administrators based on the needs identified. A little more to say. Additionally, we continue to provide professional learning related to leading and supporting school improvement in mathematics during all administrator meetings. And our professional learning for all teachers through the board occurs in various ways, including professional learning on PA days, staff meetings, and some schools will use release time to focus on next steps based on the data that we've gathered, as mentioned above. Taking action in math. The Taking Action in Math Ministry strategy and the Math Achievement Action Plan were new in 2023 and 2024 school year, but they remain a continued focus for this school year. To support our board planning, the ministry is providing the following supports to all school boards. A monthly strategic planning session is held for board math leads. This provides opportunities for math leads to network with others across the province as boards develop and monitor the implementation of their plans. There are discussion and analysis calls with the provincial math lead, Sean Brennan, and often student achievement officers will attend those calls as well. And these are opportunities to focus on questions that are specific to our board's context. A third support is the Mathematics Content Knowledge Learning Series, which includes a monthly webinar that provides professional learning intended for math facilitators and teachers and administrators on various topics. New this year, a content learning series product is also being created each month by the ministry math team. As the virtual learning sessions alternate between grade 3 and 6 and grade 9 topics, the product delivers additional math tasks and strategies for the grades that were not discussed during the virtual session. These content learning products will be made available to all teachers and administrators in the board. So let's summarize the work that's being done in Blue Water to meet the requirements of the ministry's Taking Action in Mathematics strategy. To meet our first priority action, Blue Water promotes and provides resources to our educators that are aligned with the Ontario curriculum. The use of high-impact instructional practices in mathematics supports the delivery of these resources and is supportive of all learners. A board strategy to address the second priority action is prioritizing mathematics content knowledge for teaching and all professional learning opportunities. Our school-based math facilitators utilize an instructional coaching model where they are able to work directly with teachers to strengthen mathematics content knowledge specifically related to number, skills, and concepts. A coaching focus on modeling and including daily number routines allows teachers and students to review, revisit, enhance, and practice routines that increase number sense, flexibility, and fluency. Another area where ongoing learning to strengthen mathematics content knowledge for teaching is evident is in the resources that we promote. Math Up Classroom is not only an instructional tool, but it's also a professional learning resource. And Knowledge Hub Premium has many instructional supports to inform, guide, and allow for teacher reflection on practice. Last, to meet the third priority action, Blue Water is providing a digital math tool to support student mathematical learning and targeted intervention. Teachers can use Knowledge Hub to determine and monitor student strengths and areas of needs. Using the teacher supports within the tool, including the misconception charts and next steps for teaching and the intervention questions, allow teachers to plan for and provide targeted supports for students. Instructional coaches within the priority schools also support with strategic planning of interventions for students in those classrooms. These three interwoven math actions will be prioritized in Blue Water District School Board for the 2024-2025 school year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do trustees have questions? I have one. Or two. Are the priority schools that were identified initially, are they the same schools that we would identify now, or are different schools in the most recent EQAO, have they been identified?
So priority schools are the same. The ministry identifies the priority schools and they did remain the same this school year. The ministry outlined schools with low performance results, as I mentioned, in 2022, 2023. The most recent data was not part of the process of determining at the end of last school year what priority schools would be, because we didn't have that data at that time. So at some point, I'm assuming ministry will at the end of the school year, will be looking at the data from the most recent EQO data to help determine whether or not those priority schools need to shift or not.
If I could follow up with that, how do we ensure that we provide supports to all of our schools, even if they weren't identified as a priority school, so that those students don't fall behind?
Yes, so part of the work comes from the work of myself with school administrators during our system administrator meetings. Our principals support teachers in the utilization of the newest Ontario curriculum documents in using Knowledge Hub and using Math Up Classroom and really leading the learning in their schools. I'm a support in that way. Our system curriculum lead teachers are a support as well. Teachers and administrators can reach out to them when they have questions. Wendy, if you want to add to that.
Through the chair. The other thing that we do is the check-in data that Amy referenced and some of the other surveys that we do with all schools. And that way, through that data, it starts to emerge if is a school that is not a low performing or a high priority school. That is a flag for us that we need to maybe add some additional support in that school.
Any other questions or comments? Trustee Ritchie.
There's chair. This might be a silly question. I'm just trying to grasp like what, because you're talking about the focus key areas here and one is on knowing your students. How do you guys do that? Like, how do you, because there's so many of them and they're so different. It doesn't matter, they could be similar, but they're very different. And every child learns differently.
Thank you for that question. What's really important is the use of various assessment tools and ways of assessing students so that we really get to know the learner. So not only are students, producing product on pencil and paper, but utilizing conversations, anecdotes, speaking with students and conferencing to really get to know how they learn and where the gaps are. I know, as Wendy mentioned, we use check-in data, so doing those questions 3 times per year is something that we can do as a school base, but teachers themselves have access to multiple assessment tools within tools like Knowledge Hook and Math Hub Classroom. Knowledge Hook is actually a digital tool where the teacher designs questions that can be for the whole class, but it can also be for specific students, and it could be based on areas of need where they're noticing that, oh, this group of 5 students really doesn't have this concept yet. I'm going to do a few extra supporting questions with them, get some data about whether or not they're achieving it yet, and then I'm going to pull that group and work with them one-on-one. So there's multiple sources of assessment being used to get to know our learners.
There's a chair just to go off that then, so I'm just thinking about the ones that are hands-on learners. So how you're saying their digital tests and assessments done to see where they're at and how they're learning, but I guess what I'm asking is, what kind of assessments do you guys have for students that are very hands-on and very visual? Cause like, I can only speak for myself, like I had a hard time with that, but as soon as I met a teacher that just laid it out for me with objects, it came really fast.
Absolutely. If you have a chance, the high impact instructional practices document from the Ministry of Education outlines nine high impact practices. And one of them is tools and representations. So tools are those hands-on manipulatives that they are encouraged in all classes, kindergarten through grade 9 mathematics. Even if we look within the curriculum, it states that students can and should be using those tools as a way to consolidate their learning and understanding of mathematics.
Okay.
I just wanted to add to, like, our teachers are encouraged to introduce manipulatives in the classroom. I think similar to what Trustee Ritchie is saying. So even today, Amy is working with our secondary principals and had them do a few exercises with manipulatives so that they learn, and we encourage that. So those hands-on. Any other questions or comments? I see none. Thank you so much for the presentation. The next, we are going to hear about the Ontario Secondary School Diploma requirements, and I am going to invite Superintendent Lefebvre to speak to this.
Thank you very much, Chair, trustees, and guests. There have been a few changes to the Ontario Secondary School Diploma requirements in the last few years. We did present to you, I think, the last time we came to you to talk about the 2 required ELO credits. And that happened a few years ago, and that is still found in there. You're going to see on the screen, I'm just going to put this up here for you. I have a one slide PowerPoint. Isn't that nice? One slide. I promise. Well, oh, sorry, too. There's a title. Sorry. I lied.
Yeah.
Slide. And okay, right to the lead of it. So this is this is a one slide that Kim Harbinson, our learning service administrator, is going to come up and walk you through. There are about 4 changes on here that you're going to see. She's going to highlight a number of these, and then yeah, we're happy to explain anything that we are moving towards having. There will be 2 different variations of report cards coming out in at the end of this first semester. We're going to have the 3rd page of the report card with the summary of graduation requirements is going to look different for those in grade 9 than everyone else in secondary school. So those who entered grade 9 last year or any year previously. So there's that one change is going to happen, and obviously that's going to follow through over the next 4 years. We're going to have 2 versions of report cards, just that graduation summary, and that's what Learning Service Administrator Harvitz is just going to explain right now what those small changes are for you. So, yeah.
Good evening, everyone. So yes, as Keith mentioned, and I'm looking at the students kind of over here to the left, because they started, high school before, this year in grade 9, then they will continue, to follow the path that they started in getting 18 compulsory and 12, elective credits. The students that are starting now, in grade 9 this year, there'll be a few little changes. So 17 compulsory credits, overall, and 13 optional credits. And there was a revision as well, 3 math credits that include grade 9 and grade 10. Grade 9 and grade 10 credit, and I'll explain a little bit further why that's important. Previously, requirements only required students to obtain any 3 math credits. But this new change will ensure all students will take grade 10 mathematics starting next school year, 2025-26. Because that will include a financial literacy component. It will have a unit for that. Students will have to pass this financial literacy component in order to get that credit. There are options if they don't pass it. The ministry is looking at that further, but it's just that 70% in this unit of study will need to be part of the course requirement in order to get that credit. And additional credit details regarding this will come with the ministry as we update this information. And the other new kind of thing that they've added, most of it stays the same, but for these students that started before grade 9, they had groupings as part of their 18 compulsory. That's been removed now. They have group 1, group 2, and group 3, and they've replaced that with a STEM requirement. And in that STEM requirement, they can take a business course, computer studies, cooperative education, mathematics, science, or a tech education course. I will remind you that tech was also added to this diploma. And as we know, most of our students in Blue Water were thankful. They had this tech requirement even before this has been mandated. And schools have done a really good job in not only offering the new TAS 1.0, the new tech integrated course, but they also have opted to add other like tech design and maybe a foods tech course that they could get in grade 9 and grade 10 as well. That will be applicable to this as well. The other graduation requirements remain the same. So they need to have the 13 optional credits, as I explained. They need to either pass the Ontario Secondary School Literacy Test or the course. And they have to do 40 hours of community involvement. Online learning requirements, as Keith just mentioned, the ELO requirements. And starting next school year, they'll have to do the financial literacy requirement. I have to give a shout out to our new media communications officer, Alex. Alex Lamont Thompson. She was really great in producing the media presentation. And it's kind of hot off the press. We did share with the secondary school principals today at our meeting, but it's kind of firsthand for all of you tonight. So yeah, that's my report.
Thank you. And it was one of my questions, whether trustees would be receiving a copy of it, because it's a lot of information on there.
I believe Krista will be sending a presentation that I have on the screen to establish.
Perfect. Trustees have any questions? Trustee Lutz.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is on. So through the chair, I realize this has all come from the ministry and we're not making it up. I just have so I realize that, just, 2 quick questions. One is, I know you explained briefly, but I'm just wondering if you can explain a little more what falls under compulsory tech requirement. And my second question is, just about them no longer requiring senior social science, which that goes back a long time. It would have been covered under the groups in this one, but what that might do to, course availability at some of our secondary.
Well, I can certainly answer the tech question. So it is a requirement for graduation now. It's a compulsory credit in grade 9 or grade 10. And as I explained, there's a new credit, a new course that has come out, for this year, and it's an integrated tech. So I might be exposed to 4 or 5 different tech areas in my school, that has happened before. The content is just a little bit different, but teachers are offering that. That can be offered as a grade 9 or a grade 10 credit. But again, as I said, you could also offer a grade 9 or grade 10, or grade 10 like tech design, which is a different credit than the ones I've mentioned. Or you could do a grade 10 foods course, as long as it's we call them T codes, the tech course code, then that will count as that compulsory tech credit.
With respect to the seniors, the senior social studies, I'm not aware of that previously. They just did 3 credits from either group 1, 2, or 3, so that includes all the students that are over here. But any new students, they just have to have, oh, sorry.
Can I just clarify? So calling it the senior social science requirement goes back to when I was in high school. It's covered under the group in the current one, but in the new one, there is no requirement. And I just think about some of the schools who might struggle to fill a grade 11 or 12 history, philosophy, those sorts of classes, that if this will have a negative impact on course selection for students.
I'm actually a qualified social science teacher, so I'm very comfortable in this question, and I totally get what you're saying. So it's social sciences and humanities, that's what it's called now. I don't personally believe that that would be effective, because a lot of the compulsories are, once you hit grade 11, you get to pick what you want anyway, and that won't change at all in this process moving forward.
Thank you.
Go ahead, student trustee Powell.
Hello. Just to kind of ease your worries about that, at my school personally, all of our social classes are filled to the brim. We have usually very, very long waiting lists for them. I can't say for certain if that's the case at some of our other secondary schools, but there definitely is a huge interest in social science classes at our school, so.
I could add to that too, and thanks for that reminder. A double collective is a lot of our social science courses we offer in the ELO component, or the way of learning. So they can also get a credit, but then they can also check off the box for taking an online course.
Thank you so much. I think my question just showed my age more than anything.
Any other questions or comments? Trustee Atkinson.
Just a question for clarification. The Ontario Secondary School Literacy Test, is that a given now that everyone has to write versus maybe and then taking the class?
Very good question, and we just talked about this today at our secondary school principals meeting. So EQAO was here last week at our SAM meeting. So we asked them, because we knew that this was a question. It has changed the requirements for writing. So we advised principals today, if you're unsure if the student is ready to write the literacy test, have them write in November, have them write in the spring, because those 2 attempts in 1 year only counts as first time eligible. So if then they don't get either, they're not successful in either one, then we can put them directly into the course so that they can get that requirement. So great question.
Thank you.
Any? Trustee Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through all of these courses that I'm reading here, we are still going to be divided in the courses that are basic and are university level. Am I correct?
You are correct. All 5 pathways will continue. So currently we offer college, university, community living, apprenticeship, and workplace courses. Those will continue.
Okay, thank you.
Student trustee Bell.
So, with that, because there's 5 different pathways, if a school, because of size or whatever, is not able to offer the class under one of those groups, is there like leniency for, that student? Like you say, they're in like the, college pathway or university pathway, and for whatever reason, one of them isn't being offered, like, are they able to have substitute courses, or would it still something that they would have to seek out, whether it's online or like it's alternatives for that?
Yeah, there's lots of opportunities to seek other ways of getting that credit, but these credits don't distinguish pathway, they just distinguish credits. So as long as you have the credits, it doesn't matter what pathway level you're in.
Just to add to that, our guidance staff, our schools are experts at this, as well as our administrators. We also have a pathways lead teacher, Chad Vanderdyne, as well as Kim, who's an expert in this area, and I do like him. So we have a great team supporting the students in terms of finding the right pathway for them. Just excellent.
One more time, is there any other questions? I see none. Thank you so much for the presentation. There was no new business added at the beginning of the meeting. Are there any announcements this evening? Trustee Jones.
Yeah, just a reminder that Monday is Remembrance Day, and of course at your local schools, there will be various kinds of maybe assemblies, or they might be actually attending a region Remembrance Day ceremony. So, and oftentimes, if you ask, then they would welcome trustees too.
I would like to add that November 8th is Indigenous Veterans Day. And trustee update went out about an event that's happening at Slugging First Nation, and they're actually going to have a flyover of aircraft. And I think if it starts 11:30, doesn't it? Or the flyby is 11:30?
Fly by 11:30, and you can arrive anytime after 11.
James Mason Center.
Yes.
Any other announcements? I see none. The trustee calendar of events has been provided for your information. As always, pay attention to any committees or whatever that you may be. If you know that the date is incorrect, let us know. And with that, I would like a mover that the Blue Water District School Board adjourn at 7:48 p.m. Trustee Johnstone, and safe home, everyone.